as Rick Hunter tries to orient himself to his fighter jet's new configuration and its new control layout. The folks in the surrounding neighborhood are weary of this vehicle that just crashed down from the battle above. After all of the alarms, explosions, and the main gun randomly firing, one can't blame the citizens of Macross City for being nervous, especially the residents of a local Chinese restaurant. The girl Rick, Roy, and we the audience happen to notice at the air show just happens to live here with her family. And considering this giant robot stopped short of their home after crashing through every other building on the way in, they're understandably unnerved by it. All except the little neighbor kid, Jason, who's super excited to see an actual giant robot. He convinces this girl, Minmay, to head upstairs to her room so they can get a closer look. On the SDF-1, Vanessa informs Captain Gloval she's detected several large unidentified objects landing near the island. Knowing Roy and the VERITECH are still fighting the first wave of enemies, Gloval orders Lisa to send a reconnaissance team to check out these new enemy signatures.
The unidentified craft have landed in the water 25 miles west of us, and they seem to have submerged, sir.
Call Prometheus and order them to send out reconnaissance choppers.
I did, sir. They'll arrive in 5 minutes.
Mind reader?
Yes, sir.
I quite like that interaction between the captain and Lisa. It comes across as a backhanded compliment from him for her being such a dedicated overachiever. The recon choppers investigate, but the ships they've been sent to find surprise them and quickly end their reconnaissance. I remember as a kid thinking, hoping, that a few of these missiles the one chopper fires off got at least a couple of the bad guys. As Lisa informs Captain Gloval of the helicopter's fate, he laments that his resources are so limited and worries aloud about taking these young soldiers and raw recruits of his crew into battle, knowing their lives are in his hands. It's then he's interrupted by Senator Russo, who naively declares that it's a good thing the ship is ready in time to face this incoming invasion. As Captain Gloval argues that they aren't possibly prepared to handle this task, admitting they don't hardly understand even half the systems of this alien vessel, the Senator insists.
With all due respect, sir, we don't even know if it'll fly.
He can't.
Ordered me to
Do you
take it
think
up
he
by
means
the
it?
but it'll be against my better judgment.
I am ordering you to take off, Captain. Understand?
I
Responsibility
think he
then,
means
because I'm
it.
telling you it's
Oh,
suicide.
wow. What's wrong, Sammy? I thought you wanted to go into space.
I do. I think.
The Senator then manipulates Gloval, saying he doesn't have enough faith in his crew. Captain Gloval then relents and accepts the order to get the SDF-1 into space to fight these invaders. But in his heart, he worries.
We aren't ready for combat. We just aren't ready.
With their better vantage point, Minmay and Jason marvel at this huge mecha, which then suddenly produces a pilot. Rick is still in disbelief that his jet turned into this. But the cute girl in the building next to him confirms with him that he isn't dreaming. Rick admits to her that he wasn't even supposed to be flying it, to which Minmay says,
Wow, look at all the damage.
You don't have to pay for it.
Me? I hope not. What?
Get that thing off the road! I have a truckload of vital military supplies to deliver and I'm in a hurry. Now move it!
I don't know how it works, but I'll try.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And please be careful.
Sure, I will. So long.
I hope I see you again sometime.
Rick definitely has no idea what he's doing, but he's got to do something. I mean, how complicated could it be to simply walk? Turns out, moving a 50-foot tall robot plane is pretty complicated. Rick just about kills Jason and Minmay, who miraculously are fine, and even good-humored about the fact that Rick just crushed her bedroom. He sure knows how to make a good first impression when trying to impress a girl. Back at the SDF-1, the crew prepares to engage the untested anti-gravity system to lift up the ship off the island and out into space. the gravity engines work. The ship lifts off triumphantly. Until it doesn't. The entire vessel shudders unexpectedly. With Global sure it must be a problem with the anti-gravity system, as Lisa points out the precise issue.
It must be the gyroscope. No, look. What? The gravity pods are breaking away.
What is it? Oh no! They're tearing away from the ship instead of lifting it.
The gigantic ship falls hard, crushing the ground supports underneath. As the mighty vessel settles, all hands report they're unharmed, and Global slumps in his captain's chair, knowing their journey into space is off to a rocky start. Rather than have Rick fall further into Minmay's home, the people of Macross City are working together to pull the VERITECH away from the restaurant. It's good to see them coming together in crisis, but doesn't exactly solve Rick's problems. Roy, having beaten back all enemy fighters, radios into SDF-1 to report his squad's victory, and Claudia can't help but cut into the conversation.
Very commendable work, Commander Fokker.
How many did you shoot down?
Only 10 this time.
You're slipping, Roy.
Well, don't worry, Claudia. I'll make it up. You have any word on the VT-102?
He landed in Macross City in a battleoid, and he's doing more damage than the enemy.
Thanks, Lisa.
Who is he? He's not registered as a fighter pilot.
It's okay. I know him.
He needs help.
I'd better go check on him.
As Roy orders his squad to carry on back to base, he breaks off, looking for VT-102 and its pilot, Rick. Following the path of destruction Rick has left, it's not long before Roy spots where Rick is.
Aha! There's the battleoid. This is Skull Leader calling VT-102. Do you read me? Over?
Hi, Roy, it's me.
You've had a busy day down there, I see.
Yeah, you might say that, big brother.
On his approach, the townsfolk scatter, worried another plane is about to wreck more of their neighborhood. But fortunately, Roy is a little more experienced when it comes to the abilities of a VERITECH fighter. Rick is as impressed with this transformation as Jason and Minmay are. Roy knows the best way to solve this situation is to simply teach Rick how to work his battleoid, as he calls it. Despite Rick's protests, Roy has faith that his little brother can pick it up quick and explains the basics to him as he repairs the orange fighter. While they finish up, Roy admits that the battleoid capabilities of the VERITECHs are classified top secret, and obviously can't tell him why. But Rick seems to have picked up on Roy's instructions as he's now able to successfully move his mech without knocking over more buildings. Minmay is impressed and cheers Rick on in his triumph before being called over by her aunt and uncle as she and the rest of the civilians in town are being evacuated to shelters in the surrounding mountains. And just in time, too. The enemy pods that attacked the recon choppers earlier have now made landfall and prepared to descend on the city. Before they advance, VERITECH orders a laser bombardment from space to soften up any resistance the battle pods might meet, while being careful not to hit the battle fortress they desire to capture undamaged. As they prepare to move out, Rick confesses he still isn't confident piloting this fighter as a robot. So, Roy introduces him to Guardian mode, which operates like the jet, but keeps the versatility of the battleoid. As Rick gets comfortable with it, we see Minmay and her family prepare to enter the shelter until she realizes she forgot something very important back at their home. Against the protests of her aunt, she heads back to town, naive of the danger about to rain down on her from above. The ZENTRAEDI decimate the city, leaving it in smoldering ruins, as their ground assault units stand ready to invade. Rick and Roy move about in Guardian mode, having evaded the bombardment, but worried who might not have.
They're invading the city!
Yeah, it looks like the civilians got out just in time.
Wow, the whole place is under attack. I hope everybody got out okay.
If you're worried about your girlfriend, we might check on her.
Could we?
As the battle pods advance and attack everything within sight, the patrolling VERITECH squadrons move in to defend their base and whatever is left of the great MACROSS city. The sheer maneuverability of the VERITECHs make them more than a match for these seasoned space invaders. Using hit-and-run tactics, the defense forces are able to secure much of the island quickly against the rampaging pods. But one has found Minmei, determined to sadistically squash her, nearly doing so as she trips. But its foot is blown away, along with the rest of it, by ROY FOKKER to the rescue.
Oh, no, you don't. Take it easy, honey. You're okay. We'll protect you. Take care of the girl, Rick. I'll hold them off.
You can't handle them alone.
Don't argue with me. I'll draw their fire while you get her out of here.
Stay right there, I'll pick you up.
I thought you were an amateur. Huh? Oh, no!
Trust me, I can do it.
Do I have to? Oh!
Get out of here, Rick. Fire your jets.
Rick is just trying to get her out of there to safety quickly. As an incoming slew of missiles approach, Roy destroys many of them as Rick speeds away, missiles still following, but at least Minmei is safe. So far.
Oh boy, I gotta find some way to get her in here. Uh-oh.
A surprise attack from a battle pod launching a salvo of missiles sends Rick airborne in an effort to evade them. The alien missiles break apart, firing lasers all around. Lasers that cut right through the elbow joint of Rick's VERITECH and send Minmei falling toward the ground. The absolute beauty and horror of this scene are an iconic highlight of this show. The thrill of it all as Minmei falls screaming, Rick desperately trying to rescue her. He gets to show off what he's truly made of as a pilot, pulling close enough to her to open his canopy, pull her into the back seat, while nearly flying out himself, and then being able to stick the landing. It's simply a breathtaking scene. Minmei is crying from the stress of it all as Rick tries to comfort her. But he probably should have continued to look where they were going. Another pod springs up right in their way and seems just as surprised to see them. Both of them collide, tripping the pod and inverting Rick upside down as he scrambles to regain control. They are both able to right themselves. But as they turn to face each other, Rick is alarmed at seeing Minmei unconscious, or possibly dead. The anger he feels at this thought causes him to unleash all the fury and raw emotion that's been building up in him as he continuously fires everything his gun has, all directed at the battle pod who hurt Minmei, tearing it apart. Rick still presses the trigger even after the gun is long emptied. And the damaged battle pod collapses. Just as he breathes a sigh of relief, he sees the hatch on the back of the battle pod open, and what emerges is terrifying. This humanoid figure is gigantic, the size of the buildings nearby. As it removes its helmet, Rick is surprised to see it looks human. This ZENTRAEDI stomps towards Rick's VERITECH with murderous intent. Looming above his cockpit, ready to crush he and Minmei, until he's shot in the back by the battloid of ROY FOKKER. Rick can't believe that this enemy looks just like human beings, even if they are giants. There is this one shot where Rick turns his head away from the dead alien, abhorred at the violence of war, even feeling responsibility for the death of this enormous person. Roy seems understanding of the feeling empathizing with Rick in this moment of realization and comprehension of the realities of battle.
What was it? What was that thing, Roy?
That is the enemy. Now you know why we built the Battloids, Rick. To fight these giant aliens.
They look just like human beings.
Yeah, if you ever saw a human 50 feet tall. I guess you understand now why we kept this a secret.
Back on board the SDF-1, the crew prepared to launch for a second time, only this time planning to use the Earth-built boosters installed on the battle fortress instead of untested alien tech. Lisa informs the captain that all citizens have been evacuated to their shelters. Feeling confident they won't kill any civilians with the thrust of their rockets, Captain Global gives the order to lift off. The smoke permeates through the entire island as Lisa radios Roy.
Attention, Skull Leader. SDF-1 is taking off. Request air cover. Over.
We're on our way. Come on, Rick, let's go. Get the lead out. Come on, Rick, what's the matter with you?
In a moment of shock, trauma, and strain, Rick simply folds his arms, unable or unwilling to do anything after experiencing so much today, let alone in the last 10 minutes. The SDF-1 has finally left the cradle of the tiny island, heading to space to confront a relentless and powerful enemy, leaving Rick and Minmay to fend for themselves.